FedEx full, we commanding the block. Burgundy and gold, got the city on lock. Hustling plays, they don't need to pretend. DC reppin' strong and we fight to the end. Commanders moving, no breaks, no pause. Hands in the dirt, respecting the call. KDot in the mid, dissect the grind. District divider with a city in mind. Trying to dance why, don't miss a bit. And you gotta spread the words, or shit is shit. KDot.
Welcome everyone to District Divide, a DC sports podcast. More specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. I am Amit. That is KDot. This episode, we're playing against the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday Night Football. So we're going to go ahead and preview that game. We're going to give you our predictions for the game. We got a loaded comment mailbag as we always do. And we're also going to quickly touch on the playoff picture to start the episode and get into the all 22 review of the Philadelphia Eagles game featuring our very own KDot. But before we begin the episode, if you could please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, and KDot.
Check out Ref the District. We were guest on the episode last night, the live show, so make sure you go check them out if you're not subscribed to them already. I'm sure you all are. Right, link below. All right, and then let me give you this poetry that I'm continuing to work on, and you can tell me how well or bad I'm doing. Philly stay bragging about that body bag fame. Buddy said they'll have to carry him out the game. They all wore that shit like a crown for years. Now Hurts gets clipped and y'all bitches in tears. Snowballs at Santa. Y'all cheer for the hits. But Sirianni cries when the pain don't quit. Ursh rolls up. Dom has to pull him back. Y'all soft when the game gives y'all a smack. One ring hangs. One ring hangs. Y'all scream like it's 5. Still throwing batteries at opposing fans just to survive. Till the bruises cut too close. Now it's flags and prayers y'all hoes trust the most. Philly made this bad. Don't plead or quit. Now hold this L and share that shit.
That was your best one yet. Share this shit. That was absolutely magnificent. And to echo KDot for once again, wow. There's some bars in there. I wanted to also echo what KDot said. Ref the District. If you have not somehow already subscribed, they're huge. Please do, and please check out the episode we were on along with other episodes that they've done. They are awesome over there, Nathan, Trev, and Stoner. And thanks again, guys, for having us on. We greatly appreciate that. The link to that episode is going to be in our description here. So without further ado, KDot, let's jump into our episode here, which is beginning with the playoff picture. So let's quickly paint the picture for you guys so that you understand what the scenarios are. Tampa Bay, 2 weeks left in the season. Tampa Bay plays my side piece team, the Carolina Panthers. If they lose to the Carolina Panthers, that's at the 1 o'clock window, we're in. Don't even matter how we do in this Sunday night game. We are in. Now, let's say they win. They take care of business like they're supposed to. Then if we beat the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday Night Football, we're in again. We are in. Okay, so two clinching scenarios on Sunday. But basically, high level, if either Tampa or Atlanta loses a single game in these final two, so 4 total games there, we're in. If we win one of our last 2, we're in. If we lose out and they win out, we're out. That's the deal there. And so, yeah, anything to add, KDot, before we move to the All-22 review?
Run the table.
Run the table, baby. KDot's been talking about this since the bye. So let's see if we go ahead and do that. And to get a better idea, if we're going to run the table, we need to dive into the film. And so we're going to get into the all-22 review of the Philadelphia Eagles game featuring our very own KDot.
It's the all-22 review on District Divided. Bitches!
All righty, and with that, we jump right into it. And as you guys know, for those that have been following, KDot, it's got a lot of screens. It's not 50 screens. It's not 60 screens. The man's got 70 screens. It's Christmas. Maybe it's 71 screens now. I don't know. But he uses all of them to dive in, see all the angles, and figure out what happened in that last game. So with that, KDot, over to you. What did you see? And don't hold back.
Yeah, I'm going to say most of the screens are dedicated to my movie watching before the end of the year.
That's true.
So maybe one screen, one small screen for this particular game, because y'all weren't going to get this, all right? And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I got to do something. So I thought, you know what? It's a holiday season. We're coming on the new year. Do I want to focus on negativity? Don't want to focus on what's going on with the run game, even though there's some positivity to be said in that, right? There's some positivity for what we did with Saquon and holding him. But you know what? I'm going to go with the dude that has brought us all the holiday cheer in the world this year, which is Jayden Daniels. And I want to highlight 3 plays in particular that, in my opinion, over the course of this season and looking at the All-22, have shown me absolutely he is a different player than the one that came into the league, and he is learning. And when we talk about what's happening with his playoff push and we don't know what it is that he can do. We don't know what the ceiling is. This is the kind of shit that should give you confidence that, like, hey, if you're betting on the unknown, skew positive more than negative as far as Jayden Daniels goes. So 3 plays. First off, the 3rd and 8, the quarterback run. It was in the first half. We have an empty set. Eagles in a 2 deep look. You see it right there. Jayden audibles to the QB trap run. You remember Remington, right? Which I think even the commentator said.
Yeah, Greg Olsen calls it out. They're like, well, now everyone knows what Remington is.
But as far as like that, number one, Jayden recognizing as far as where the safeties were, what was going on as far as the boxing, and realizing this is a good time to call this Remington thing. Number one, we've seen at least glimpses of it all the way back, going back to the beginning of the season, as far as like him and Terry calling their own shot, doing things like that. But this to me was just looking exactly what the defense is giving you and then making the decision right there on the fly. I think the Terry McLaurin would be more like, I trust you, Terry. I don't know if this is even the right thing to do, but I'm going to do it because I trust you, Terry. This to me was actually reading a defense and making the call. And then not only that, you look at what Remington actually is, and I got to give it to Kliff Kingsbury and the offensive line as far as the execution on that. Cosme and Wiley fake blocks on Jalen Carter before they peel to the second level. Like, fuck you, Jalen. We're going. And Carter's like, oh, what? What'd you do? What'd y'all do? Allegretti pulls over. Jalen Carter gets stuck by Allegretti. You're not supposed to be the guy here, but you are. Where's Jayden Daniels? Oh, he's already behind me. He's gone. He's gone. And it was just awesome to see. Dude, it's the shit. 13-yard gain right there. He sees what the defense is doing. A top-ranked defense that was throwing a lot of different things at him. He sees it, recognizes diagnosis, and then makes the play happen. Great shit from Jayden Daniels. Number 2 play that I want to highlight is that 51-yard bomb to Dyami Brown, right? Back against the goal line, right? Look, number one, it just shows we already know Jayden Daniels' deep ball and accuracy when he's setting his feet and doing what he's supposed to do. Ain't a whole lot of people in the league throwing a better ball than he does, man. It's a thing of fucking beauty, right? But it's the other things that you see in his head that is showing me that he's making progress. Number one, he sees, at least in pre-read, where it is that the safety is looking. Safety is playing deep on the opposite side, skewing a little opposite of where Dyami Brown is going to run. He sees that, recognizes it as far as pre-snap. Perfect shit. As soon as the ball is snapped, what he realizes after he sees the safety, Darius Slay turns his hips. As soon as he turns his hips, and he turns his hips early, it's done. It's done. Now, what Jayden has done at certain points this year is wait until he actually sees it before he pulls the trigger. We all seen that pump fake. It's not really a pump fake. It's him second-guessing his decision, right? None of that. Anticipation before Dyami Brown even breaks off, before he gets separation from Darius Slay. Jayden already knows, well, it's going to happen. Right over. Perfect ball.
And if I could, it's nice for him to have that level of trust. We've seen it twice with Terry. I don't know if this is going to be play number 3, but that over-the-shoulder drop to Terry for that touchdown. We saw it there where he throws it before Terry's open. Yep. And we saw it on the 3rd and 7 on Monday Night Football against Cincinnati where he throws it before he's even past the corner over there. So we're beginning to see, I think it was Dax Hill on that play. So it's nice to see that he's beginning to have that trust with Dyami Brown, who right now trending was not playing, but it's good for him to have that with more than one receiver. That's great, KDot.
And that's why I'm like, trust me, I wanted to highlight that Terry McLaurin play, but I'm not going to. And the reason I'm not going to is I already know he just trusts Terry. Yeah. So it's like, if it's one-on-one, Terry's almost telling him like, hey, just do it. Just fucking do it. Right? Yeah. Like, it's going to work out for both of us. Just fucking do it. Like, and as long as they're connecting and not missing on shit like they did in that other game, like they got it on lock, right? So the third one I wanted to call was the game-winning touchdown of Jamison Crowder, which I know everybody's seen and they're seeing the breakdown on, but it's just a thing of absolute fucking beauty. He sees pre-snap what Zach Braun is doing as far as lining up against Crowder. He knows what they're going to do as far as the receivers doing that split. It's as soon as Crowder has that step on run, as soon as he has it, ball's gone. Ball's released. I'm sorry, that window that he threw in with that anticipation. I know you've seen, I'm sure, I think I saw Dan Orlovsky go over it. I know I've seen some other people on Twitter at least go over it.
Mm-hmm.
Look, Philadelphia didn't play it great. They didn't play it great. But as far as diagnosing what it is you see pre-snap, what it is you're seeing as soon as the snap happens and taking advantage of it without second guessing, without thinking too much, that is the shit that we see from Jayden Daniels that means this dude, with the tool set that he has, as far as being able to run the goddamn ball and having that accuracy that he has, once he gets that anticipation and that trust, it's not necessarily trust in the receivers, it's the trust in seeing what it is his eyes are seeing and knowing this gives me a favorable matchup, I should take advantage of it. That's the shit. That's the shit that'll take him to a whole other level. That is anticipation that you see with 5-year vets. You don't see that shit with most of these guys. You see it once every blue moon, and you're not even sure why it is they did it. It wasn't anticipation. They just did it, right? Caleb Williams says a lot of that this year. He just did it, right? It's not necessarily you're seeing the development and the progress, right? Jayden Daniels, absolutely, this game, I feel like every other week I come in here and say, you know, I think that was Jayden's best game. Even if the stat line don't prove it, it's because I'm seeing shit like this at a more steady clip. It used to be maybe you see this once, like you want to highlight like the play against Cincinnati. Like you get the one, and then I got to look at, all right, it was Terry McLaurin. This shit that I had to whittle it down to 3. There were so many more that I could go to that just shows this dude is our franchise quarterback.
The highest compliment I can give to Jayden Daniels is that when we were on that drive, I had zero doubt we were going to score. I'm so used to him producing in the biggest moments now. So I don't know how you felt, KDot, but when it was 2nd and goal with 10 seconds left, when we scored, I know there's some compilation videos of Commanders fans going nuts. I didn't even change facial expression. I was like, let's go for 2. Just already on to the next thing. The guy is so calm and poised that as a rookie, he's got us going, okay, well, we know we're going to score. What's after that? Like, he's been unbelievable. I don't know how you felt while watching that live, but
like I said, if I go back to that whole game, I wasn't worried because I saw just the stupid mental errors that we were making. I didn't feel like Philadelphia was capitalizing on anything, right? And then everybody can look as far as when Jalen Hurts went down. It still didn't matter to me if Jalen Hurts was still in the game, unless Hurts started throwing for fucking touchdowns rapidly like crazy. I wasn't going to change the way I felt about it. It wasn't until the end of the second interception I was like, ooh, maybe that was too much.
Sure.
But I'll tell you right now, this is another reason I keep harping on that Dan Quinn going forward on 4th down thing, which I loved in this game. There was never a question about it. He just fucking did it. This team plays with an attitude, and Jayden plays with an attitude when they know it's 4 down territory. We're going down the fucking field. I love knowing that they have 4 downs to get each first down. I feel secure in that. His tool set, if I have a series, there's no doubt at least one of those plays in that series, that defense is going to give him a look where there's a 15 to 20-yard run right there looking for him. And that is going to happen every fucking time. And I love that shit. Just give him more bites of the fucking apple. It's going to happen. I love it.
Absolutely. Any final thoughts here before anything on defense, or do we just flip over to the preview?
We flip over. Look, the defense stuff.
This is the Jayden Daniels show.
That's the Jayden Daniels thing. I want to keep it positive, right? But the look, and we'll get into it when we're talking about the Atlanta game. As far as the running attack, as far as the rushing game, look, we all talk about shit that's going on as far as the rushing, like, oh my God, we can't stop the run or anything. They do a damn decent job keeping most guys bottled up. What they have to work on is letting that 50-yard, the 60-yard thing happen, which skews the stats all out of whack and does count as far as a big hit play. They got to stem. If they stem that shit off, this defense looks pretty decent.
Okay, cool. And so thank you for that all 22 review, KDot. We are now going to move on to the preview against the Atlanta Falcons. The 8-7 Atlanta Falcons come to our place, Northwest Stadium, this Sunday night, 8:20 p.m. kickoff, and we cannot wait for it. Once again, playoff spot very likely on the line, assuming Tampa Bay takes care of business against the Carolina Panthers. A win and in scenario in primetime, stage all to ourselves. So we're going to go ahead and provide the context for this game with the injury report. And so go ahead and begin with the Washington Commanders. Thank you very much, KDot. As you can see, a lot of DNPs. Okay, a lot of DNPs over here. Most notably, there are about 3 guys that you want to look at here. De'Ami Brown, who exited the last game with a hamstring injury. He had that nice catch that KDot had mentioned as his second play that he highlighted in the All-22. Marshon Lattimore, hamstring again, not practicing. Looks like he's not going to go. Those hamstring injuries, guys, if you've had one before, they can be tricky. Even when you think they're okay, they're sometimes not. So I doubt either one plays. And Andrew Wiley is the other big one you want to look at here, not practicing with a groin injury. That's obviously trending downwards. Others are limited or full. Let's go ahead and flip over to the Atlanta Falcons. Just a couple names here. Antonio Hamilton and Kevin King. Not the biggest names, but corners. And corners, as we'll talk about when these breakdowns, these matchup breakdowns, they struggle there. So they still need the help while they have it. Otherwise, just a whole bunch of limiteds for them and a full in KC Washington. So that's going to be your injury report for the Commanders and the Falcons. And now we're going to go ahead and talk about just the way we always do things, which is this Commanders offense led by Jayden Daniels and Kliff Kingsbury against this Atlanta Falcons defense. So KDot, over to you. What is your approach for attacking this Atlanta Falcons defense?
I want to do what I always do, which is say, scream, run the football, constantly into a microphone. Because I love the way it does as far as from the complementary football standpoint. I love what it does as far as the defining the definition of our team, right? The from the top down, who are we about, right? And I have to say, throw the fucking ball and score on these bitches. Like, I want score early, score big, go at these clowns. Go at them. Look, you're going to hear me say some hyperbolic language because I kind of like this Falcons team. So I got to kind of shit on them in order to feel the way I feel. It's my side piece team. Yeah. It was my side piece team. And I got to eat a lot of crow as far as the Kirk Cousins of it all and all that. And Kyle Pitts, you son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. You're not allowed to have a good game this game. All right, motherfucker. You're not allowed. But we'll get to you. Look, they got to throw. I think there are some opportunities as far as throwing the ball against these guys, right? Look, pressure rate as far as the Falcons, third lowest in the NFL, 29.2%. Their sack rate, based on that pressure rate, 4.6%, the lowest in the NFL. Those two things to me mean, I hope Wiley plays because Trent Scott's a thing. But if we can manage just a basic pass protection, this should allow Jayden Daniels to have time in order to deliver the fucking football, right? And this is what I want. Based on what I saw in the All-22, based on what I'm seeing as far as development of Jayden, you got time to diagnose what it is you're seeing and take your shots when you need to take them. Take advantage of the things that are open. Look, the Falcons, majority of the time, they live in zone defense. If you're looking as far as the defenders, they got that, Kaden Elliss, linebacker, he's a dude. Like that dude. He's a dude. He's legit. Super legit. In the secondary, you worry about the safeties. That's the thing. But as far as the cornerbacks, AJ Terrell is really the only guy you really need to know about. And because AJ Terrell is the only really guy you need to know about, they play in a lot of zone. They do it a lot more than man. And if you're looking at us as far as a team, while Jayden Daniels in our offense is fairly efficient playing against zone, we don't have the best stats outside of the efficiency. Jayden has 8 touchdowns and 7 interceptions in zone. So it's like, compared to man coverage, I think it's 14 touchdowns and 1 interception.
He's a lot better against man. Yeah.
A lot better against man. So I think what you got to do is you got to kind of take this attack to him. You got to, the running game is going to be there in a sense of just trying to build the pass off of, to me. It's what are you doing against the light box that Atlanta likes to play in? Can Bijan Robinson or our offense take advantage of the light boxes? It's just not my primary focus. Because even against light boxes, it ain't like we've been lighting up the fucking world. I think, as a matter of fact, as far as starting running backs go, I think Bijan Robinson is in the top 3 facing light boxes.
Yeah. Right. So to your point, KDot, that these guys, more recently, they've been doing a bit better. If you look at their last 3 years, their pressure rate has gone up. Their sack rate has gone up. I'm going to attribute that to playing the New York Giants and the Las Vegas Raiders. So when you team stats, And, national media people are saying, hey, look out for that. They're doing better. Okay. 2 of those 3 games, that's who they went against. So it's important to note that. Kaden Elliss, like KDot said, a dude, one of 2 players in the NFL with 130 or more tackles, 5 or more sacks. That's it. It's him. Some other guy that I don't know right now, but that's Kaden Elliss, and those safeties are pretty good in coverage. But like KDot said, these guys play a lot of zone because if they're in man, a guy you're going to want to target, D. Alford. Okay, he's giving up a 120 passer rating, 7 touchdowns, 0 picks. Normally an okay player, but he's going through his confidence issues. If you want to call him the Atlanta Sages, you're welcome to. You could do that if you really want to, but that's what we're going against. You almost have the opportunity here, KDot, to have the pass set up the run. I know you and I really like running the ball, setting the tone that way. In this situation where Atlanta, it can be so shaky against the pass, they give up a 107 passer rating on the road. It might be such that they are so focused on that you do get Bijan Robinson, that you do get Jeremy McNichols, that you do get Chris Rodriguez. Heck, Jayden Daniels can all gash just a little bit more to make it easier across the board. That's complementary football, offense helping offense. So do you feel that we will actually let Jayden air it out, or do you think we will be run first primarily?
Okay, so this is where you get into the whole gamesmanship and everything of it. And This is where like my prediction or my keys of the game are also predicated on what I've seen this team do recently, which is, we talked about this on the Ref to District episode last night, which is like what's happened to our run game outside of Jayden Daniels and what he's doing on the ground. And I think everybody can really key to the biggest thing that's hurting the run game. It's not, in my opinion, the offensive line. It's not the defenses we're facing. It's the lack of Austin Ekeler. And with Austin Ekeler not being there and having the change of pace back, we're not as dynamic or as hard to read as we have been when he was in the backfield. So what does that mean for us in the run game? Look, you're going to see like boxes. Maybe it is that Bijan Robinson just has himself a day, so you keep with it, right? You'd like to establish a running attack to open up some things in the passing attack, right? Like that would be the primary way that you'd want to do it. But if you're not going to be able to do it, because look, I haven't seen anything that tells me necessarily we're going to be able to do that at a high clip, right? What I want to do is get them out of zone to play man. And how do you do that if the rushing attack's not necessarily working? Motions. It's motions, it's slants, it's short route, it's spreading everybody the fuck out, getting it real wide. It's boom bap plays, right? The boom bap. It's getting things out really, really quickly. Having those defensive backs saying, oh shit, we got to play close to the line of scrimmage. It's that sort of stuff. You got to keep at it. You got to kind of hammer it away. It's not necessarily the bombs all the time. When the bombs are there, you take advantage. Play action, RPO, take advantage of the bombs. But you need to have, if the rushing attack's not working, it's spread these guys out as much as you can, and they hit things as fast as you possibly can hit them. There's going to be time to do what you need to do. You don't need to rush through anything. There's going to be stuff that's going to be available. They're going to be, because they're playing zone, there's going to be some stuff in the intermediate routes that are going to be available for you to hit. You just got to hit them at a high clip. But if you're doing a lot of motions, if you're doing a lot of sweeps, if you're doing things where it's the defense has, oh shit, I got to follow this guy. I can't stay in zone. I got to do this, which is not something we do a whole lot of. I don't know if the numbers have changed. I haven't looked at them in a bit. But it used to be, throughout a good portion of the season, we were like one of the lowest 5 teams as far as running motion. This is a game where I'd like to see more of that shit. I'd like to see the tight ends moving across the field. I'd like to see the wide receivers moving across the field. And I'll warn you guys, I need execution on that. No fucking penalties, no illegal motions. Get everybody set the way you need to. No dumb shit. No dumb shit. You got to play at a high level of execution to get these guys off base. Because if you get them off base, if you get them playing man, if you get them doing the things that they don't want to do, you can have a field day.
Yeah, and if they are playing a lot of zone and they're insistent on playing a lot of zone, 2 people that I would anticipate having pretty good games by their standards would be Jamison Crowder once again and Zach Ertz. So Zach Ertz does a really nice job of finding spots in the zone. And when Jayden Daniels was asked about Jamison Crowder's return just a couple of weeks ago and asked, hey, what does he bring to the offense? This is also on the heels of the Noah Brown season-ending injury. Like, what does Jamison Crowder bring to the offense? He concludes by saying he knows how to find soft spots in the defense. And we saw exactly that against the Philadelphia Eagles with that route. 2 catches, 15 yards. How about both of them going for touchdowns? Jamison Crowder, excellent in those spots. could see him continuing to excel here with Jayden Daniels. It's nice to have him back. Any final thoughts, KDot, before we flip over to the Falcons offense?
Yeah, that part about, look, I think what you're going to see, even with the zone coverage, is you're going to see a lot of attention being played to Terry McLaurin. I think what you're going to see in this state is like, all right, think about it. If you were to face us, what do you want to do? You want to get rid of the rushing attack. You don't want Bijan Robinson to beat you, so you do what you can there. I don't think they're going to put a lot towards that. They're just going to say, hey, you guys have been kind of faulty with this. Can you even do it? And then outside of that, it's going to be, let's try our best to take Terry McLaurin away. So like it has been every week. Last week, we got to see it with Jamison Crowder with the De'Ami Brown play. Somebody has to step up. We need another guy to step up, be able to take the top off the defense, or at least be able to get some yak, be able to break some tackles. We need somebody else to put fear in the heart of Atlanta and to do it early so they're a little off base, or they have to take that attention away from Terry. And we know if they take the attention away from Terry and Jayden can link up, lights out.
Right. And it's something to monitor, just something to monitor schematically, is if De'Ami Brown doesn't play, because we would normally have Noah Brown or De'Ami Brown stretch the field. Both probably out, right? Well, Noah Brown certainly, De'Ami trending downward. Who's going to do that? Do we ask Zacchaeus to do it? I don't know. Is KJ Osborne going to play? I don't know. So, I mean, it's something to look out for.
Luke.
Could it be?
Luke.
KDot, could it be?
Yeah, Kliff. Play Luke and Ben. God damn it.
They combined for 14 snaps. Combined for 14 snaps.
We just haven't seen enough of them. Like, maybe they can be the dude. Earlier this season, Luke was getting open fucking constantly. I get it. He does not run the sharpest routes, but that shit comes with more snaps and more practice. I just see a dude that's just trying to get open. That to me is like, he might not run the cleanest route. He's just trying to find. You talk about somebody that can find a soft zone? I look at that when it comes to Luke. He, to me, should be the safety valve. And as I've seen Jayden do the progress, I think if you give Luke more opportunities, you're going to see a lot more with it because of what Jayden's starting to trust with his eyes.
Yeah.
Just give him the rap. Just give him the rap.
Look, he got 3 targets last week. I want to say maybe even 4 on 9 snaps, KDot. So when he was in, this is a bit of a tip to Atlanta, I suppose. If you see Luke McCaffrey in the game, they might be trying to give him the ball. We did a nice screen to him. He gets a first down. So, and in the return game, Luke McCaffrey has shown that with the ball in his hands, it runs in the family, man. He's dynamic. He is dynamic. So find opportunities to get him the ball, even if it's a quick, what would it be? A jet sweep or something like that. Just put the ball in his hands. Make it easy.
Same thing we said about Terry, right?
Yeah, exactly. It would be nice because this is a nice potential spot for Luke to stretch the field for us and take some of those snaps that De'Ami Brown won't be able to take from the looks of it. So let's go ahead.
Step up. Oh, I forgot this. Hey, we got some stuff. We can do stuff. Let's do it.
Let's do the things. Let's go ahead and flip the script. Talk about this Falcons offense with Michael Penix Jr. in his second ever start against our Washington Commanders defense. So on this side of the ball, KDot, what are you looking for? And are you bummed that Kirk Cousins is not playing?
That's a loaded fucking question. You saw.
There are 2 questions, actually.
I only heard Kirk Cousins' name, and now everything else went out of my head. Kirk has been hurt. He's had 3 good games. I think he's used up all of his 30-whatever-year-old Achilles health he has. Okay, it's over. It's fucking over. Michael Penix at least can walk properly. Okay,
he looked good last week, honestly. Michael Penix.
He looked fine, but I also think that look, I know you love Penix. I loved what Atlanta did by getting Penix if they thought it was a guy. Yeah. Like, I love the move. But when I was ranking all the quarterbacks, I think I did have Penix kind of near the bottom here.
5.
Even though I thought I love all these guys. I think all these guys would have good careers.
And they're doing well.
Right. But Bo Nix, I just wish you didn't say your name in the third person. Otherwise, I would have had you a lot higher, buddy. I would have had you a lot higher. I like you, Bo. All right. Sorry. As far as this team and as far as Atlanta, if you're going to force Penix to try to beat you, what you cannot do is let that rushing attack of Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier fucking beat you up. You cannot let it happen. Look, as I say, when it comes to any of these great backs that we come against, they're going to eat. They're going to get fed. They're going to eat. You're going to see every once in a while, you're going to see Tyler Algier or Bijan get 5 yards followed by 7 yards. You're going to see that happen once or twice in this game. It's going to keep a drive going. You're going to feel a little demoralized. You're going to say, oh, God damn it, what's going on? But you need the defense to just stay with it. You got to load up that box. And you got to stop that fucking run. Because if you do, I like our defense in the red zone. I like our defense holding guys to field goals, right? I like our defenses. Even if you do have the one series or 1 or 2 series where you get a 5 or 7 yards, you're also going to have a series where Deron Payne leaks through the line and gets a negative 2-yard stop. And then they're behind the sticks. And because they're behind the sticks, they don't get to run it on second down. They don't get to run it on third down. That's what you got to do. You got to make sure they cannot get the running game truly established to the point that it's working. They're not going to quit it. They're not going to quit unless we get the score out big. But you just got to make sure that those 5-yard runs aren't turning into 60-yard runs, aren't turning into those highlight plays that you're going to see Scott Hansen talk about on red zone at the fucking end of the day. You don't want that shit. You can't have that shit. Now, with that being said, don't let Penix make you look like a bitch, okay? Like, it's a rookie quarterback. You can't, don't let him bitch you out. Marshon Lattimore, I wanted to say, hey, kind of like last week. It went all right. Maybe not really. But in this game, I was going to say, hey, Drake London is your responsibility. Take care of it. If he's not playing, I don't necessarily have anybody else that can just say take care of that. It also means probably we're going to have one guy that I don't think any of us really want to have out there is going to probably be out there, and better to say Juice. Mm-hmm. Buddy, redeem your name, son. Redeem it. Do something good in this fucking game. Look, force Penix to throw into tight windows. That means no fucking penalties, none of that bullshit. Play as good fundamentally as you can. Just play soundly. I don't need you to be playmakers. I don't need you to be going for picks or anything. Just play fundamental. Let Penix have to throw the ball into a tight window. Force him to do it. If this is going to be Penix's coming out game, if you get beat by the rookie quarterback, you might look like bitches, but you take that. You take it. You understand? You take that. You take that loss. And Kyle Pitts, that you motherfucker, you're not allowed. You're not allowed to have a good game, you son of a bitch. You fucked my fantasy team up. I believed in you. I blamed Arthur Smith. You don't get your get-right game against us, you son of a motherfucking bitch. Don't you dare. Don't you fucking dare.
I mean, yeah, if we were a bigger podcast, share this shit, please. I think you would see KDot along with many, many others in the freezing cold takes with Kyle Pitts. Man, it was tough. It's been tough for him. I don't quite understand what happened. He had such a nice rookie year, and since then, psychological sport, man. But to KDot's point, and to echo it, these guys run the ball, and they've been running a lot since their bye week in week 12. Their OC, Zach Robinson, Raheem Morris, and maybe the quarterback, or maybe everyone just got together and said, hey, what do we need to do differently? And they were like, well, Bijan Robinson's healthy, right? Yeah, he's healthy. Okay. And Tyler Algier, he's there too. Yeah, he's still there. Okay, cool. And Kirk can't move. Yeah, he can't move. All right, cool. What if we just hand the ball off a whole lot? Since the bye week in week 12, Bijan Robinson carry totals 26, 22, 22, and 22. It's the second most in the NFL in that span. Before that bye week, he had 0 games over 21 carries. Okay, so they clearly flipped something, but it doesn't mean Tyler Algier is not getting carries. 8, 9, 12, and 11. These guys are running a lot, so much so that in the last 3 games, they're running the ball 56% of the time. It's the third highest in the NFL in that stretch. So like KDot was saying, sell out on the run and make it so that it is a second and long, because these guys want to run. More than half the plays, they're running. Sell out on the run, stack the box, and then if Michael Penix ends up beating you, it is what it is. You still have Jayden Daniels on the other side, and you hope you keep up. They're hoping they keep up. Let's be real. We're the home team. We're the favorite. But that's the situation. You want a rookie in his second ever start to show you he can do it versus Bijan Robinson, who round 1 pick 8 last year. I mean, the guy is supremely talented. So you want Penix to beat you. As high as I am on him, and I am a bit nervous that I think he's a gamer and can do it. If you had to pick between Bijan or Penix, you're saying stop Bijan. Stop Bijan, stop Tyler Algier, and roll the dice with the Michael Penix in his second ever start. And it's on the road. This is his first ever road start. KDot, any final thoughts here before we...
100,000,000%. That's what it is. Like, look, I love what it is that Dan Quinn and Joe Witt can do if we get ahead of a game. So, like, if our offense could just start good. If we can get a 2-score lead in this game, just a 2-score lead, to me, this thing opens up to that Tennessee game. Okay, that's what it does. You got the ability to do that. Here's one thing that Atlanta is not. They're not aggressive. They're an extremely conservative offense.
Yes.
They tried to be aggressive early on in the season. They had a couple games where they had some success with that, with Kirk Cousins really slinging it around the field. But beyond that, they've been limited in what they've been able to do. Even with Penix last week, they're not pushing the ball down the field. They're not doing that. They're running, getting things to set up. They love the short game. They love doing all like get them into their uncomfortable zone. Mm-hmm. Get them dropping back. Get Penix on the fucking run, on the move. He ain't a scrambler, man. He ain't a scrambler. Go hit that motherfucker. Like, that's what we need to do. Make them one-dimensional. Because I'm telling you, when Washington's defense really starts to sing is when we get them being one-dimensional. When we can pin our ears back and go after you. Because our pressure's pretty fucking good. Mm-hmm. Even when the secondary's not doing the job the best they can, we can usually get there. And it usually, or at least get you off rhythm, and those balls come out, and even if you got somebody open, it's sailing over somebody's head and going fucking out of bounds. Let's get to a position in this game where we can unleash the hounds on these sons of bitches.
I mean, that would be excellent. It's also got to be said, though, this is a point in Michael Penix Jr.'s favor. We talked about pressure to sack ratio a whole lot entering this NFL draft. His was far and away the lowest amongst the rookie QBs, and so far he's shown it. 32 pass attempts, small sample size, only the 1 sack, though, and his pocket time. He's getting rid of the ball in 2.3 seconds. I'm sure you guys remember early on with Jayden Daniels, we're getting rid of the ball quickly. It's his second ever start. They're probably going to look to get rid of the ball quickly with Penix. So just something to look out for over there as well. You were laughing there. Go ahead.
Yeah, because I remember when you said that shit in the pre-draft stuff. His offensive line was insane. And they played
Atlanta's offensive line is good too. Isn't that why you picked him?
Shut up. Don't make me do this. Don't you bring logic into this shit. I'm trying to shit on something, you son of a bitch.
Okay, fine. You go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm being a poor teammate. Go ahead.
Here are the keys. Yeah, they're the keys.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Those are the keys.
I will say this. This is all predicated on, do I believe they could stop the run? They got to prove something to me, man. Like, if the game does not become one-dimensional, Bijan on the outside scares me. It does scare me. It absolutely fucking terrifies me. And the change of pace between him and Tyler Algier does not speak well to what it is we do. You got, like, this game is not at all a gimme. Do I see a position where we could blow these motherfuckers out the water? Absolutely. But it requires stout, good, disciplined play. You gotta really bring it home this time, guys. None of these fucking mistakes. You can't turn the ball over 5 times this fucking game. You can't do that.
No,
you can't do it. You can't have those third and longs get converted to first downs because you dumbass did a fucking penalty. You can't have that. No roughing the passers. No fucking false starts. None of this shit. Play clean. Clean.
Play clean. Play clean. Stop the run. Make the rookie beat you. It's that simple. Let's go over KDot to the predictions over here where you match our Commanders record. It's a beautiful thing at 10-5. I matched the Atlanta Falcons record at 8-7. A little more context for this game. By the way, we're 4.5 point favorites. The over-under is 47.5. The Atlanta Falcons need this game. This is a damn near must win for them, especially if Tampa Bay wins. Because then they need to keep track. If they lose, then all of a sudden they're on the outside looking in. Right now, they hold the 4 spot. If Tampa loses and they win the division. It's over. They could even rest for a week. So this is a huge game for the Atlanta Falcons as well. So KDot, over to you. Once again, we're 4.5 point favorites, over under 47.5, and we're the home team in prime time. I need a score, I need a winner, and I need a player of the game.
So I did a prediction yesterday when we did Ref the District, and I did say that there was a good chance it would not be the same when we get on the podcast.
You did say that.
It's not the same. So I did some soul searching, right? And I remember you said something on last night's episode when we were on Ref the District that really struck home with me. I hope I'm not stepping on your toes as far as
not at all.
Goes.
Not at all.
Is that field goal kick is a problem for us now, especially if the weather does a little bit of turn. So I'm not sure. So I did have a score, but I'm going to adjust it just slightly. I'm going to say 28-20 Washington over Atlanta. I think this game could get sloppy, especially if it does rain. I'm hearing that potentially is in the forecast.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll say 28-20. So what was the 47.5? So just over? Just over. My player of the game, I'm going to kind of do a question mark, and I know this is kind of cheating.
That's fine.
Initially, I had De'Ami Brown just penciled in. I think it's going to be whatever receiver steps up when Terry's covered. So whoever ends up being the second guy to be able to lean on in the passing game, I think ends up being your player of the game. Whether it's Crowder because he's been showing his veteran presence to be able to find those soft zones to be able to exploit. Maybe it's Zach Ertz, who I don't necessarily trust with Yak, but he'll make the catch. Or it was one of the young guys. Is it Zacchaeus? Is it one of those dudes? It's whoever the second receiver is that steps up ends up being the player of the game.
Yeah, and if I had to guess who that would be based on the amount of zone Atlanta likes to play and just his experience in the league and what he just did last week, it might well be Jamison Crowder. But it's a good shout, KDot. It is, because they are going to focus a lot on taking Terry McLaurin away. They are already pretty good against the run. They don't invest a lot of resources in that, so they can focus on taking Terry away. Who else steps up? It's an excellent question, and it's one that we're going to find out the answer to. I've got 21-17 Washington, so I'm hitting that under a 47.5, but I do have us winning. The Falcons, I guess, cover by half a point, but I think it's a lower scoring game simply because Atlanta wants to run so much. So I think that they do have a little bit of success against us, but we're sort of a bend, don't break defense. I think they end up with only 17 points, hostile road environment. Now that fans are coming back, they see the Commanders. They're like, hold on, we're going to have that true home field advantage. Excited for it. But we need Deron Payne to have a big game and help with that. I think he is going to be player of the game over here. And hopefully Jonathan Allen gets some snaps in as well. It'd be awesome to get him back. I don't even believe I mentioned that in the injury report. My apologies. But getting him back would be huge, even if it's just for 5 or 6 snaps, because, hey, he got paid too. So Deron Payne, my player of the game, 21-17 Washington. And we go into the playoffs, and it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful thing. On to bet of the week. KDot, what you got for us?
Stay the fuck away again. Look,
cool.
I might bet in my personal life, but I ain't bringing it out to you guys. I got a problem, an addiction. I can't see a game and not bet on it. Last night, 6-3. Are you fucking kidding me? I did win some, but I lost a lot more.
I was going to ask. Oh, okay. Never mind.
Just stay away from this game. Look, I can't rely on anything. Usually this would be my Brian Robinson. Hey, just do something. Nah, I don't know if I can do it. If there's anything I'd probably lean on is the Washington money line, maybe. But even that is not high enough to put any juice on it. So just stay away. Bet on some of the other games this weekend.
Honestly, smart advice, because you still have an unknown in primetime at quarterback for the other team. So until you know a bit more about him, I would stay away too.
Yep.
But that's just me, and that's just KDot. And on to a loaded comment mailbag. We got to begin with the intro from our very own Nikki.
Comment mailbag time, motherfuckers. The district divided, ain't got time for no suckers. Spread the word, get in line. OGs and new G's, it's your time. And spread the gospel, cause this shit is divine. Yeah.
Thank you, as always, for that wonderful, wonderful introduction there, Nikki. We begin with Big Papa Grizzly. Snaps in the chat. Excellent reading, KDot. Big fan of the poetry that you've been bringing to the table, KDot. And today, in particular, I think was absolutely your best one.
Thank you. So, like, every one of the songs that you hear, while I might be doing some magic with some things, I still have to generate what the production is going to sound like. I got to figure out the instruments. I got to figure out all the implementation. And I got to write the fucking lyrics. So I'm realizing, why don't you just say the lyrics? Just like it'll work. Look, man, I'm on movie mode, so something's got to get streamlined. Okay, so that's where we're at.
That's where we're at.
Thank you.
Yeah, and shout out Big Pop Grizzly. No G over here. We go over to Paul Murray. Shout out. We hang 36 on the number 1 defense, and the excuse is Jalen Hurts was out. Give me a break. KDot, where were you?
Look, man, I ain't trying to give any of these fucking Eagles fans like an inch on this at all. And I still have to take this into account where I'm one of the few that predicted we were going to win this game, even when Jalen Hurts was in. Yes. So, like, I have a core belief that we were going to win this game regardless. But a lot of other people are coming from the standpoint that, like, oh, we just got one. Even our fans are kind of like, Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, we got one. But it's like, I don't believe that. I can't believe that because of what I believe going into the fucking game.
Right.
But there is no doubt Jalen Hurts not being in the game did affect all aspects of the game, regardless of how I feel about it. I don't think Jalen Hurts was going to have a whole lot of success throwing the ball. Even in the short sample size, he didn't have a lot of success throwing the fucking football. But what you do have to take into account is he was gashing us on the fucking ground. And as I've heard you say, if you had those third and short situations and you have those fourth and short situations, the dynamic of the game does change with Jalen Hurts being in it. So however I feel about it, I can tell you the final score would probably not be exactly what it is if Jalen Hurts is playing. Do I still think we pull it out? Yes, but it's not the same.
And to that point, KDot, I was thinking about the Philadelphia Eagles and that week 2 loss to this Atlanta Falcons team, now led by Kirk Cousins at the time, but that was an example of they got off to a strong start. And so just because the team was trending in a strong fashion early on doesn't mean that's how it ends, because as we know about that game, Kirk actually marches down the field. Jalen Hurts throws a game-sealing pick, and that's the ball game, and that's late in the fourth quarter. So sometimes just because it started well doesn't mean you can extrapolate that out to be like, oh, the Eagles are going to win 82 So just because Jalen Hurts was knocked out, did it change the dynamic of the game? Yes. Did it change the end result? We don't know. We won't know. But what we do know is that we did hang 36, exactly like you're saying, Paul Murray, 36 on the number 1 defense, and you can take nothing away from Jayden Daniels for that, and nothing away from KDot's prediction, because he held true that we were going to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Go ahead, KDot.
I don't know if I should say it. I kind of want to double down on this thing.
Well, we got Coach. We got Coach with a couple
okay,
comments here. So because I feel like since we're talking, yeah. All right. Well, here's Coach. I'm going to read 2 of them. Okay. And then we will, because yes. Okay. I'm going to read one first, and then I'm going to read the other. One is short, the other is long. Here we go. Jalen was basically lying on the ground when Luvu speared him. That looks and feels dirty to me. That's the first one, okay? Here comes the second one. Luvu absolutely speared Hurts' head, which is targeting and an ejection in college. Jayden will absolutely be targeted in the playoffs. I appreciate your honesty and context on Shades Monday. You're absolutely right about the culture and coaching in Philly. Talent ain't everything, and that kills me to say as a former scout. If Washington was at all consistent game to game, I might be worried, but that's not Washington's pattern. They play like ass versus Dallas and then play great versus Tennessee. They play like ass versus New Orleans and then play great versus Philly. If that pattern holds, Washington will play like ass versus Atlanta and then play great at Dallas. Penix Jr. is still my quarterback 1 from this past draft. Is Jayden great, or is Philly's defense actually mid? Looking forward to your all 22 if you do it. KDot, your reaction, then I'll give you mine.
Is Philly's defense actually mid? What the fuck is that about? Look, I will 100% say that I outright just disagree with you. The call that play dirty to me is absolutely ridiculous. I understand that everybody's doing the slow motion thing and looking at every fucking angle in which they can have it fit their fucking narrative, right? But the way that I saw it in real time was Jalen Hurts, who's known as the big bruising running back sort of quarterback, right? You guys love that fucking Philly push, tush, whatever bullshit, and you love being able to be physical as far as Jalen Hurts was going. That motherfucker was not giving himself up. He was trying to make a play. And when he's in the course of trying to make a play, I'm going to put that motherfucker down. All right? That's the goal of the fucking game. Put him down. And I don't like this bitch-made shit afterwards that I'm hearing Philadelphia fans say. I even say it in my fucking poem. Built into the identity of you sons of bitches. Things like the body bag game. You don't hear anybody in fucking Washington talk about how we were on our fucking Brian Mitchell had to end the fucking game. No, it happened in the course of the fucking game. It's what it is. It would happen. I might even say that you guys have a bigger history of trying to put motherfuckers out of games. In this particular situation, there was no fucking flag. There's no fine that got levied. The commentators, everybody else. If you want to look at a common denominator, why is it that the only people complaining about it are y'all motherfuckers? That's it. That's it. That's the only person complaining about it. It's y'all. If you want to talk about history of what the fuck was going to happen and all this kind of shit, all I know is this. Philadelphia Eagles are a hot fucking mess. You see Nick Sirianni afterwards in the Zach Ertz shit? Bitch made shit. How many times do you got to have? Why? Under what circumstances should I know your head of security's name and hear it as often as I do?
He's a celebrity.
Because you guys are pieces of shit. Like, that's what you are. You guys are a mess. Like, look back. You went to 4 NFC championships in a row, right? And what do we know? We know everything about Donovan McNabb not getting along with T.O., Freddie Mitchell not getting along with T.O. You guys are a hot fucking mess. That's why you didn't win it. When you did win, it was Big Dick Nick blessing you guys. Because if Carson Wentz was the quarterback, guess what? You don't have a fucking Super Bowl. All right? You got in. Beyond that, what do I see now? You guys had one of the best records in the league last year. What'd you do? Lost in a wild card. Why? Because you don't have a fucking team. So you want to predict anything? How about you predict why you think that it changes now for Philadelphia? Why do you think now they're going to be in a situation where they'll work together as a fucking team? You worried about our consistency? You don't have enough. You don't have enough in the fucking books to worry about our consistency. Worry about you. You don't have a fucking team. You got a collection of dudes.
So here's what I'll say, Coach, which is that, okay. So any number of former players on both sides of the ball were asked about the hit, and all of them said it was not dirty. So we'll start with that. All of them, including former Eagles in Shady and Acha. They were like, this is not a dirty hit. It's part of the game. Happens. If it were dirty, knowing the NFL and some of the fines they've levied to people, don't you think Frankie Louvu would have been fined? Didn't happen. So let's start there. Not dirty, both by national media standards and by the league standards, which, by the way, seems quite soft these days. We've seen some of these calls, quite soft. We then get into, they play like ass versus Dallas, play great versus Tennessee, ass like New Orleans, great versus Philly. We played like ass versus Philly. I want to be very clear. We turned it over 5 times. Our running backs combined for 32 yards on 15 carries, and we gave up 200 on the ground. That's not playing great. That's Jayden Daniels playing great. That's not us playing great. We played like ass, and we won that game. That's why the focus was Jayden Daniels could be a superhero at times. That's what we learned. 5 passing touchdowns against your number 1 defense, which hadn't allowed that since 2021. So here's the deal. That was the takeaway. That Jayden Daniels is a guy. That was the takeaway. So is Jayden great, or is Philly's defense actually mid? It's not one or the other. I think both are true. I think Jayden is great and Philly's defense is really good. I think that's the reality. That's why we enjoyed the win so much. So wanted to push back on a couple of things mentioned here, Coach. We'll just disagree on. I think your defense is excellent. I also think we've got our franchise guy in that regard. And I don't think the hit was dirty. I think it was unfortunate. I don't think it was dirty. Okay. I'm going to move to Coach's next couple comments here, and we'll respond to those as well. Coach goes, I think Jalen Hurts is a great leader on the team. I think that's why I'm blaming Hurts' injury a lot. All right. And then the next one is short weeks are rough on both teams. See you guys in the playoffs. And that's in reference to the first matchup, I believe, the first matchup where we played Philly on that Thursday night at their place. Get out your reaction to those 2 comments. So Jalen Hurts being out, being a leader and missing that leadership, and then the short week stuff.
All I need to see as far as Jalen Hurts and his leadership is what he said to the press after he had the big game with A.J. Brown. The motherfucker listens to everybody else except who the people that matter, which is in the building. Is the reason why you have guys like Brandon Graham on fucking podcast trying to justify the relationship or non-relationship between players on the fucking team. I don't want to hear that bullshit. You guys look through goddamn Kelly Green colored glasses to justify anything that's going on in this fucking team. There are reasons why I'm hearing the Philadelphia defense is mid after hearing all fucking season long how dominant you guys are, how the rookies are playing so great, how Jalen Carter's a force. You guys will do anything you possibly can to fit whatever dumb fucking narrative you want. And I get it. Philadelphia is basically the epitome of, you're not allowed to talk shit about my team. Only I can talk shit about my team. Fine. Do you. But just know, you're not in the realm of reality when it comes to everybody else and what it is we think about your goddamn team. Okay? You're just not. You're not in the realm of reality.
I buy into the leadership element and missing that on the field. I think that's very real in sports. And I think if I'm a Philly fan, that's probably what I'm doing to cope as well. I'm just saying, I'm using the word cope, by the way. as well. That's what I would do. So I get it. We go over to Big Papa Grizzly one more time. Shout out. I'm not listening to any of the excuses from Eagles fans. Y'all are so much better, right? Still hung 36 on that defense. Jayden still ran for 81 on y'all like track. Jalen living up to his last name again? Sounds like Luvu did his damn job. Not sorry for having a rising star at linebacker. Tell your boy to stay his ass in the pocket. It's dangerous out here. KDot, over to you.
That's what it is. Look, I've been glossing all over the Philadelphia Eagle dick all season long. Since how many times do I have to come into this mic and tell you guys how I think the Philadelphia Eagles are the most talented team in the NFL? And I don't think anybody can argue with me on that. You can't. But there's a reason. There's a reason nobody feels secure in the most talented team in the league winning the fucking Super Bowl. Because you guys aren't a fucking team. You got no leadership. Nick Sirianni's a bitch. Jalen Hurts just rubs people the wrong way. It's just what it is.
Yeah. The thing about a team like this, because I agree, Kate, and I had them winning the division before the season. So no one can come at me for thinking the Eagles are bad. I think they're really, really good. But here's the thing. When you are lacking leadership or pointing fingers like that, even in the midst of winning streaks like AJ Brown did, you are susceptible to losing games you shouldn't, because then there's infighting. In fact, we saw it with the team last year in the NFC East that we didn't think had infighting. That was the Dallas Cowboys against the youngest team in the NFL, Green Bay Packers. All of a sudden, CeeDee Lamb's throwing a fit before the game kicks off. We're like, what the heck is going on here? Dak throws 1-2 interceptions, and all of a sudden, the sky is falling for a team that was undefeated at home for 2 years. But you guys do this way more regularly than them, which is why I didn't pick Philly to the Super Bowl before the season, because I'm like, hey, they're talented enough to beat regular season teams. But once you get to the playoffs, if a team punches you in the mouth, I'm very, very concerned about Philadelphia. But we'll see what happens. There's plenty of season left to go over here, hopefully for both teams. We go over to Pally for life. Regarding CJGJ, quote, one of the emotional leaders, etc. He's a douche. Amit at the 2140 mark. I burst out laughing. Preach, Mr. X. Appreciate you listening to the whole thing, Pally for life. Appreciate that. And yeah, you know what? I spoke from the heart there. CJGJ was a mess. And I mean, even after the game tweeting, I didn't do anything. And then later tweeting, okay, so it's trash. Like, he starts admitting what he did. Like, the guy is a fucking man. It's just irritating to go against. Go ahead, KDot.
He's a fucking tool. He's a douchebag and a tool. And if that's one of the leaders on your fucking team, how about your leader? How about your leader and everything he has as far as his rap sheet across the fucking league about how many fights he's been in with teammates, how many fights he's been out with other people on the team? Get the fuck out of here. You guys are an undisciplined group of jackasses, okay? It's just what it is. And
he
look,
went live in the locker room during the game.
He's a
Instagram.
fucking douchebag, but I get it. I get it. Look, man. Coach, any of you Philadelphia fans that are here, because I know you guys pop up every once in a while, I don't even take it personally. I've been saying it forever. It is just a character flaw. Look, I'm fat. I like fried foods a little too much. I accept that. I understand. I need to work on that. You guys are Philadelphia Eagles fans. You have a character flaw. You can't see it. You can't see it. I get it. I get that I don't blame an alcoholic for wanting to drink. I get it. I get it. You guys are doing what you guys have to do. It's who you are. It's who you are to your core. It's who the city is. The city of brotherly love, my fucking ass. You racist motherfuckers up there. You piece of shit. I fucking hate Philadelphia. And I should love it. You know, in all honesty, I kind of appreciate Philadelphia. I love going up there. I love going up to Philadelphia. But there's also this attitude I'm walking around. It's like, God damn, this is like a clown world out this motherfucker. Like, these don't even seem like real people. Like, do they even understand the kind of shit they do? They don't know. They have no idea. They just have no idea who they are. Like, if you watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and you see those pieces of shit that we root for in that show, that's who you are. That's who you are.
It's just the Always Sunny cast everywhere in that city.
It's great. It's great. It's like that's what makes the show work so well. Everybody in Philadelphia can pick a character. Oh, I'm like Mac. Oh, I'm Charlie. I'm clearly D. Like, everyone has somebody you can live vicariously through. I love you guys. I love how unapologetically you are. But just know that when we're talking about you guys outside of your bubble, we're going to treat you accordingly.
There is another comment from Coach. This one, KDot, I do agree with. Here we go. So Coach goes, Philly fans, no ball. The complaint about the Hurts injury is both the cheap shot and the effect of what KDot talks about all the time, complementary football. Which I took offense to because I was like, I talk about it too. Vic felt the need to call a more conservative defense because he knew that Kenny Pickett is a 0 yak, 0 EPA QB. You can be more aggressive on defense and take away running lanes and routine NFL throws when you know that your QB can put points on the board, especially touchdowns. So I'll get ahead of it and say, yes, from the complementary football standpoint, I do think it makes a big difference. And I do think it affects how a defense is called. I agree with that. But that's also why I still give credit to Jayden for doing what he did. KDot, over to you.
You start with the premise that the hit was dirty. Once again.
Right. Disagree with that. Disagree with
you. Do I understand, as I said previously, Jalen Hurts being out of the game, does that change the dynamic of the game? Absolutely. It changes things from the complementary football standpoint as far as what they're able to do on defense. It also changes as far as maybe they have more opportunities of the apple or be able to burn more clock as far as time of possession if Jalen Hurts is in there to be able to run the ball. So we don't get as many bites of the apple to maybe come back. I get that. I get all of that.
We can stack the box more. Yeah.
Right. I still say all this to say, I still thought we were going to win. So we just disagree. We're never going to agree on this. It's just not going to happen. And then just to double down, just a bit. Is that the last coach comment?
That is.
Cool. I, under no circumstances, root for players to hurt other players as far from an injury standpoint. These guys need to make a fucking living. I understand they have families and other people to support, especially as a black man. I understand. I'm never rooting for the injury of another black man that puts their family up and potentially from a generational wealth standpoint can change shit in the community. I'm never rooting against it. I'm never rooting for that shit. All I'm saying is this. If you hurt an opposing player in a game, you deserve credit for it. I understand. Y'all don't like the word credit. You think that it comes with some sort of like, oh, well, I guess he was trying to do it. You try to play the game as hard as you can. The same way the Philadelphia, when it comes to the tush push, wants to dominate, wants to fucking bitch made the defense, wants to push everybody over, bowl everybody over. You want those moments? We want them too. We want them too. You guys can't have your body bag games you rest your fucking laurels on, where you actually have a coach going outright to say, hey, we want them to leave in body bags. Ain't nobody doing that over on this end. All we're saying is this. If you do hit, or I shouldn't say we. Just
I was going to say, we'll talk after the pod. Yeah.
My thought is that if you hurt somebody over the course of a game, you get credit for doing so. My entire point of that is that you as fans can't bitch at that point about, well, it would have worked if that dude was still playing. That's what I'm saying you don't get the credit from. If you got a non-contact injury and a dude goes down, I understand. All right, look, yeah, dude got hurt. It was bad luck. Things would have been different if he continued to play. Our guy put your guy out.
We go over to...
No excuses.
We go over to Prince Anubis. Shout out. As soon as the last whistle blew, I could not wait for this episode. Even got a thumbs up on the comment. Appreciate that, Prince Anubis. Hope you enjoyed that episode and hope you're enjoying this one right now too. Thoroughly appreciate you listening. KDot, your reaction to Prince Anubis.
Thank you. Yeah, glad people looking forward to us.
Yeah. And then we go to Vindo. Oh, gee, shout out. I was at the game. Crazy. I thought Hurts only played offense. Apparently not. The Jalen Hurts plays offense, defense, special teams, and is the head ref. The whole see you in the playoffs thing isn't an insult, by the way. They may lose to the Cowboys next week because they want to play themselves out of a top 10 draft pick. We got one of them ones. 5 passing touchdowns is crazy work. First time since 95. Unreal. First time since 91, I want to say. I mean, like, it was crazy. Vindo, congrats on being at that game. What an epic win. Trying to think back to how big a win that was over the past few years and be hard-pressed to go any sooner than 2012, honestly. It's been a while since we've had a game like that with as much hope in this franchise because of the guy we have playing quarterback. I mean, what a win, KDot.
I guess the win was a win to me. It's not as big a deal, I think, as everybody else is making it out to be. Because, look, I don't have any fanfare in this. I said before the game, I thought we were going to win the game. Do I think that means that we're better than Philadelphia? No. Do I still look as far as the future of this franchise and say, what I'm really excited about is year 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that kind of shit. Do I want Philadelphia in the playoffs? Fuck yeah. Do I want him because I think we're going to beat him? Not necessarily. I just like what it means as far as the mentality of this team. Yeah, you guys are that good, and we want you. We want you. We want to beat you. And even if we lose, I love that mentality. I love what that means as far as this franchise. Because I'm looking at this franchise compared to that franchise, I think we have brighter days. I do think we have brighter days. I do think that we are going to be on top of this fucking division for years to come. That's my prediction. I don't give a fuck about this one game or any game that happened this fucking.
Same here. By the way, KDot, we did an exercise. You guys should check out the episode. It was way back when we were. I think the title of the episode is Ben Johnson a lock, or it's the top head coaching candidates or something like that. And then we talk about the AFC NFC landscape. And if you're able to hit on coach and hit on quarterback in the NFC, you are much more likely to ascend quicker than you are in the AFC, just because of how loaded the AFC is with their coaches and quarterbacks. Now, is it as simple as that? No, but does it give you a major head start? Absolutely it does. Because again, this is during Jayden's rookie deal, presumably going to be the worst team around him. It's a full-on rebuild that we've got right now. So it's only going to get better from here. So like KDot's saying, winning the division moving forward, when I think about wins versus Philly, KDot, especially in recent years, it's been more of a we survived it, like Taylor Heineke taking the late hit at Philly and then just gesturing first down, for example, or Alex Smith when they pulled Jalen Hurts and we needed that win to win the division. And was it Nate Sudfeld they put in who threw a couple picks to us? Like we sort of hobbled with those victories. This one was, our guy is incredible and it's what is to come. And that's the way I'm sort of thinking about this 12-2 team at our place. And we did it because we have a guy and we believe we can do it again. And so that's the context I'm putting around that kind of win. Looking back, I also thought, hey, just a game. I'm more focused on the Atlanta game from a playoff standpoint, but looking at it after, I'm like, actually, that was a pretty massive win. So that's where I'm coming from there.
Let's be brutally honest. I'm going to be as brutally honest as I possibly can be. Okay.
Sure.
The only reason this has been a rivalry the last few years is because we don't like you guys as far as Eagles fans. We don't fucking like you. Nobody likes you. And there's that element of it. But even you guys yourselves, when anyone would ever talk about who's Philadelphia's rival, you guys would dismiss this out hand. You guys would say it's not even a rivalry. What the fuck are you talking about? And you know what? I can tell you today, it's true. It hasn't been. We haven't had a real fucking franchise even to root for on the Dan Snyder era. I know that sounds like a cop-out, but it's just me being true. No, we never really had faith that anything was going to fucking happen. So all we were doing was resting on the laurels of what was happening, and we knew you outright dismissed us, and we didn't like being dismissed, so we got back. I get it. You guys have had the upper hand for decades now. Easily. Decades now. Going back to Andy Reid. You guys have had it. You've had it on lock. No doubt. No fucking doubt. But now I feel as though we are here. And I get it. We might be the little brother y'all don't want to fucking deal with or whatever. Okay, cool. You're going to recognize us soon. You're going to fucking recognize us soon. We're here now, okay? We got ownership here. We got a plan now. So far, we split the series, and the tiebreaker goes, y'all have Jahan Dotson. We got your draft pick. Fuck off.
Yep. It is 1.1-1. And we are here to stay, knock on wood, pending long-term health. We've seen crap like that before. And so, again, long-term health of everybody around.
This is what we wanted, right? Real rivalry.
Yes. And this was an announcement. That was the biggest win of the weekend. It affected the one seed. Like, this was a huge, huge win. We go over to D-Smoke. Shout out with a couple comments here. Wanted this win bad. Got it now. Let's run this table. KDot. D-Smoke ready to run the table as well.
Run the table. I will say, as someone rep the dish, I'm less confident in this game than I was last week.
Yes. Yeah, you did say that.
Just period. It's just what it is. But I also look at this team and I say that every week it's the same shit that shoots us in the foot. It's just a matter of like, how long are we going to let it progress? I thought last week there were enough. I thought that the bad shit that was happening felt like anomalies compared to the rest of the stuff that was happening, that I felt, okay, it cannot be this bad throughout the course of the entire game because I've never seen anything this bad. So if we can just stop doing the dumb shit, we're right in it. I like everything I'm seeing. We're right in it. And it happened that way. Do we match that energy this week? I don't know, because we are a team that, once again, when that one or two bad things happen, we can either snowball into it never recovering or trying to recover when we got enough time to do so, or we just fucking dominate and you feel good and we're going to win the game. It can happen either way against any opponent.
Absolutely. D-Smoke also goes, never wavered on winning or losing. We play till the game is over. They don't just chirp about it. If they really do it, I don't see how Atlanta beats us. I just can't imagine it. KDot, can you imagine an Atlanta win?
Yes.
I can too. Again, it would be us not stopping Bijan makes Michael Penix's life a lot easier. And all of a sudden they're sort of in cruise control. We're playing catch up. We're throwing towards those safeties, taking some chances against a Justin Simmons or a Jessie Bates. Jessie Bates had a pick 6 last week. So still a tough game, just to be clear. And Atlanta's got to have it. So this is a tough game. Both teams got to have it. D-Smoke again. Got about 5 game balls to give out. JD 5, Luvu, Tyler Owens.
Yeah.
Olamide Zacchaeus, and my Dookie Blue Devil, Jamison Crowder, God of War, Chin. I love this team. KDot. Those game balls. How you feel about them?
I love this team. I love a lot of the guys on this team. I love a lot of the pieces. I also kind of bittersweet that I know a lot of you guys aren't going to be here because we're going to upgrade. But I'm appreciating this team, and this has been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. I like this team, and I like what the direction that we're headed in. I like the mentality. I like that what it means to be a commander feels like something actually tangible now. Feels tangible. Are we there yet? No, but it feels like something we're actually working towards. You can start to kind of see that picture come into focus, right? What it does mean to be us. It's cool.
My gosh. I mean, I think teams are ultimately going to study what we did. Seriously. No, I'm so serious. Like, they are going to, especially the Bears, looking back, they were built on the outside, screw the trenches. We got the savior, make him the savior. Very important. We make him the savior. And things will just work. A lame duck coach, too. Let's throw that in there. That's going to work. And we had the full reset. It's all zero expectations. Made the expectations as low as possible. You take a quarterback high, of course, and we got quite listen, having a Jayden Daniels available in a draft was a stroke of luck beyond anything ever. Seriously. So there's that. I'm not sure you can replicate that. I'm so thankful we got him. Thank you so much. But in terms of the messaging being, hey, we are so much more focused on the character of the players and making sure that we're doing the little things that it sets us up well for the future. I think that's what I'm talking about in terms of how do you do a rebuild properly? You can even call it a recalibration. You could do the exact same thing, but how do you do it properly? I think we've done a really, really nice job. You were laughing though. Go ahead.
The only reason I was chuckling is everything you said. What I heard was hire me to be in charge of what it is you should do to rebuild your goddamn team. Okay. They did everything I wanted them to do. The only thing that was different was Marcus Mariota was clearly not as talented as I'd want the bridge quarterback to be. That's the only thing. That's the only wrinkle. Even though Gardner Minshew's not.
Well, you also would have maybe traded out a pick 2 or taken JJ McCarthy. There's also that.
JJ! I admit I was wrong on that. But as far as the fundamentals on what I want, I'll put it to you this way. I don't ever want to think about it. But if Jayden Daniels wasn't here, if it was one of those other guys, okay? It's a terrible thought process because we love the dude,
I don't like it. Yeah, go
but
ahead.
you're still liking the direction of this franchise.
Yeah,
the timeline, nowhere near it.
Oh, man. Yeah, I was going to say, D-Smoke's like, hey, Atlanta, I just can't imagine it. I can't imagine this team without Jayden Daniels, nor do I want to. So I'm just
without Jayden, we're still probably looking at a top 5 pick next year. But we like the way they're playing.
Right. Imagine this game with JJ McCarthy back there instead of Jayden Daniels.
Shut up, man.
All right, sorry.
We'd be undefeated.
We go. Guy's a winner, huh? Guy's a winner. We go to Stephen Nick, who goes HTTR. Got him in all the fields. Feeling really, really good about this team. And we will parlay that with blood clots. Oh, gee, over here. Comment to the Eagles fans. Pickett doesn't play defense. What's their excuse there? If it wasn't for those dumb fumbles, we had 3. Eagles may not have been ahead. We were spoon feeding them touchdowns. And why did Bates go for a pass route on a run play? How did he let Josh Sweat run right by him? Looking at that play again, he almost purposely dodges him to run out in space. And those big Saquon runs. He had a great lead blocker. Lastly, can we do more play action and less screens? I feel like we're 1 for 10 with screens with positive yardage. I will say Luke McCaffrey did have a positive screenplay. But KDot, over to you. More play action, less screens? How are we feeling about the comment from Blood Clot?
I definitely want more play action, but the only way the play action works is if the running game is working better than it's working right now. Right. So I loved what it seemed as though if you go all the way back to some of the first all 22s, I started talking about really early on what I liked with the 21 personnel, what I liked about the different looks, and I felt as though what Kliff was doing was slowly introducing some of the play action, and then we got it at a pretty good clip. And now it's not as effective as it potentially would be because people aren't afraid of the running game as far as our running backs as they have been or should be, maybe. You got to be able to do that more. So I understand they're kind of spread it out a bit more. And look, if you can't get the running game established, screens are sort of a replication through the passing game of trying to get the running game going, at least to some degree. It does the same thing. It kind of spreads everybody out close to the line of scrimmage to try to stop stuff short, which then potentially opens up things later on. So it kind of works as a dual thing. The only other thing I say, I want to stop hearing our fans justify, say the Pickett doesn't play defense or hurts defense, whatever. You ain't got to do that. I know it sounds like a good line. You ain't got to do that. Stand firm that we would have won this fucking game and justify it. Justify it. Do not cower to these assholes. Don't do it. Fight back. Fight back.
All you have to do, even if you truly feel that the Eagles would have won with Jalen Hurts, even if you do feel that way, is just not concede the win. Just be like, hey, we have a superstar quarterback. I don't know that if your starting QB got hurt, we don't win the game. Like, that's all you have to say. And we won the game, so it doesn't matter. End of conversation. And that's if you truly feel the Eagles would have won that game. And after watching the game, I don't feel that way about the Philadelphia Eagles because Jayden overcame everything to win that game, including himself. I haven't even said that, but the couple interceptions, he threw a couple picks, but he overcame that too. I mean, yeah. We go over to Earl Bruce.
Or just do what I do, which is give Lou credit for getting rid of fucking Hurts.
And we'll talk about it after the pod. Earl Bruce goes, the second Philly game. Jedi 5 overcomes 6 turnovers. Wonder if there's a 6th one. The D shuts Philly's O down in the second half. 10-5 in year one of a recalibration. My football life is sweet. I mean, look, 10-win season. More, you double our losses. You hit our win total. Come a long way since last season, KDot. I mean, our football life is sweet.
When you were talking a little earlier about on the earlier episode when we were talking about the window in like the NFC as far as the future and anything, I will also admit that when we were predicting what was going to happen this season, you had it within the realm of possibility. You had it in the realm of possibility we'd be seeing something similar to what it is we're seeing right now. That like there's a window. NFC East might not be as strong as people think it is. We got a shot. We got an opportunity at it. And I thought that A-Train was doing a little too much Bolivian stuff, and I thought you were out of your fucking mind. So I got to give you credit. You saw the success happening at a level at which I couldn't fathom. They've exceeded my expectations. It's why I can't be down about this season. I can never be down about this season. Like, I was still felt good about this season. We had 6 wins. We got double-digit wins? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, yeah. I felt like I hit the lottery.
Oh, I mean, we most certainly did. Because even if you look at years past and our years past, okay, like these are the most wins we've had in 8 seasons, something like that. Or even, I mean, it's nuts. 11 wins, KDot. It's been ages since we've had 11 wins. Ages. Best start to a season since 1991. I mean, our football life is absolutely sweet. And our worst case scenario now is 10-7 and we miss the playoffs, which would, by the way, at this point with the percentage probabilities and stuff would sting like a motherfucker for sure. But also you'd look back and be like, we were 10-7 and we missed the playoffs. Like in a recalibration year, in a rebuild year, what a season. What a season. But let's go ahead and make the playoffs, please. At this point, now that we know the situation, let's go ahead and make the playoffs.
I am realizing that the only thing that's bringing me down at all is arguing with Eagles fans at this point. Like that's like even if we here's the thing, even if we lose, you hear me knocking on wood?
Yeah, I'm knocking too.
Even if we lose out and don't make the playoffs, I'm still excited. The only thing that'll bring me down is goddamn Eagles fans. I don't like you guys. Coach, I love you. I don't like you at all right now.
It would also imply Dallas swept us, which would also I hate
God,
that
damn
concept.
It.
So just
Dallas is looking kind of decent on defense recently.
they are. They love Mike McCarthy. They could have quit. They could have, but they love him. They're playing for him. I think he's going to be back. I think he's going to be back. And so we go over to, okay, hold on. It's like pork rind. Yeah, we go over to Cody Rind. I remembered that. Thank you for doing that, Cody. Something I noticed that isn't being discussed. Tyler Owens is an absolute unit on kickoff. 2 loud tone-setting hits on the kickoff team. It's just nice to see most of AP's picks doing work this year. AP, listen, we are so used to missing on literally all the draft picks. The fact that Jayden, quite clearly a hit, safe to say a hit. Mikey Sanders still drafted to play slot, turned into our CB1 halfway through the season. Now gets to be CB2 when Marshon's playing, but is a leader on defense. He's playing really well. Johnny Newton was also shouted out for having a sack and 3 tackles for loss last week. Brandon Coleman starting at left tackle. And look, I know people are maybe low on Luke McCaffrey. Not everybody, but maybe some people are low on Luke McCaffrey right now. It's his 3rd season playing wide receiver. So if his route running needs to develop a little bit, okay, that's to be expected. He's a project. He's also a McCaffrey. And each time he touches the ball, he looks good. Same thing with Ben Sinnott. When he touches the ball, looks good. So you look at this, and then an undrafted free agent, Tyler Owens. Adam Peters, take a bow, son. This was incredible. Over to you, KDot.
Tyler Owens was like my preseason darling, man.
Everybody's. Oh my gosh, loved him.
So good. It was so good. I wish I could see him more playing just on defense, but we'll see. Look, I love this team because I love, once again, we are building an identity. Do I think outside of quarterback and maybe linebacker, and punter, can we upgrade at every other position? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. No doubt in my mind. Because you find a better player at every one of the positions. Yes. But here's what I like. I like that even if you do so, I'd still love to have any one of these guys that are on the team as depth guys, as character guys, as culture guys. These dudes are commanders. Where they are on the depth chart, we'll figure that shit out as the years go on. But we're drafting dudes that we want to see in the fucking building. We're picking up guys that we want to see in the building. What we need is for that heartache to really run true when we know that there's a roster move happening, one of these guys that we've called to love because we love the way that they're playing. We love the effort in which they give, and it just doesn't work out. They got to go somewhere. We need that heartache. That's what good teams do, okay? We need that. We need a little piece of that.
Yeah. It's also got to be said that, and shout out the coaching staff, and this is where they instill the culture. Adam Peters can give them the pieces, but it's up to them to instill the culture.
No doubt.
And this isn't to call out Fedarian Mathis, just to be clear, but 2nd round pick, right? And a Ron Rivera pick. And I know some people feel that the Rivera picks are being targeted. I don't see it that way. I think it's just these guys made it such an open competition for everybody that they said, if you play well, you will see the field. Who was Sheldon Day before this season? He's now a big part. There you go. He's a big part of the defense now. He's a big part of the D tackle rotation. Who was Carl Davis? Like, guys are allowed to make a name for themselves here. Credit Dan Quinn. Credit Joe Witt for allowing these guys the opportunity, because I mentioned just the defense there, to make a name for themselves, and you can see the field if you practice well. That's culture. And so I got to give it to them also, because the turnaround on defense from last year, I know it's still difficult to stop the run, but man, it has been so much better than last year.
Look, man, Sheldon Day or Carl Davis could walk right down here while I'm on the podcast, smack the shit
You'd
out
have
of them.
no
Wouldn't
clue.
know who the fuck
Yeah,
they
you
were.
would have no
But
idea.
you know what? When they got that helmet on and they're playing, well, you know what I see? Commanders.
Nice way to wrap
Playing
that up.
like Commanders.
Now, there is one regret I do have, which is that we have a Just Santo comment here, and my water is nowhere near me. I have no idea where it is. So we're going to go ahead. We're concluding with Jess Santo. And then we got an after the pod right after. So here we go. Jess Santo goes. Sheagles, shut your bitch ass up. Go join your cry baby fan base and stay off a real fan base's podcast. We've been through shit you can't even imagine. Being called racist. One of our greats being murdered. Our owner suing us. Trotting out bum-ass quarterbacks at embarrassing teams for 2 decades. Media coverage of lawsuits, sexual harassment, money laundering, and FBI raids. Losing our logo and name. We're not the ones, buddy. The Hurts tackle was nothing more than a tackle. He was not targeted or even hit high. Big boy wants to run the ball. He'll get hit. He's a weirdo anyways. Nobody likes him. He looks like a great value version of that D-list TV actor from NCIS or whatever that show is. He has no personality, and he's got R. Kelly vibes with that all-female management team. Your players like our quarterback better than their own. Our defense went ham in the second half and put out the blueprint on how to stop Barkley while yours crumbled, giving up 20 points in the fourth quarter. We'd love to play you assholes again in the playoffs. Your team is a collection of divas, prima donnas, and a Jahan Dotson. The Lions and Vikings have heart, talent, and toughness. They are the tough teams to worry about. This is the beginning of a rivalry, and I'm going to enjoy every minute of it. Hopefully, the Eagles don't have another mental breakdown like last year because the Commanders are not. We are only getting stronger with Allen and Eckler returning. So that's what you wanted to see? Anyone, anywhere, anytime. P.S. I must have posted my last comment a little late after the victory over the She-Gals. Hail to the Commanders. Go Dubs. Share this shit. I'll say your line. No notes. No notes, Jess. I mean, wow.
He called you guys' quarterback a great value, Shamar Moore. That's biting. That's biting. Fuck you guys.
It was tougher than any hit he took from Louisville. I'll tell you that. That was
once again, not celebrated, but it happened.
But it happened. And Jess, we will. That was such a good comment that we'll read your previous one on the next episode. So this was the show. This was District Divided, DC Sports Podcast. More specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. I am Amit. That is KDot. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for commenting as you always do. And if you enjoyed the episode, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, and KDot.
Share this shit. Share it.
Share this shit. Greatly appreciate you guys. Hope you guys had a Merry Christmas. And if you celebrate Hanukkah, so far, a Happy Hanukkah. And after the pod begins right now. All right. Hey,
the worst thing that happened to the NFL was the Eagles winning the Super Bowl.
You think that's the worst thing that could happen to the
worst
NFL?
thing that happened in the NFL's history is the Eagles winning the fucking Super Bowl.
Oh, you're saying when it happened?
Yeah, when they won the Super Bowl. Because now they feel there's an arrogance that didn't exist. Like they were still Philadelphians, right? They were still doing that shit. But you could just say, where your championships at? Shut the fuck up. Right. And you get a battery lobbed at your head, right? But beyond that, like, it is what it is. These motherfuckers now, not only are they lobbing batteries, they think they're right. They're not.
Well, so they are the team with the most recent success in the NFC. So they are allowed to, in their minds, act this way. They have the Super Bowl. They did it with the backup quarterback. They did it against Tom Brady. I'm so thankful Mahomes and company a couple of years ago beat them when they had advantages at every part of the field except tight end and quarterback. That was literally it. Like that. Thank goodness for Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, because if they had won that one, oh my
I didn't think they had a chance of hell of winning that one, because you remember
Jalen Hurts played well that game.
Daniel Jones, and then who was it? Because Brock Purdy was hurt.
Right. So Brock Purdy, then it was Josh Johnson, I want to say. Then it
Daniel
was
Jones and Josh Johnson on your road.
And I think Christian McCaffrey maybe tried to throw a pass or something like that. Yeah.
Fuck all the way to fuck off, guys. Like,
they celebrated that one. By the way, Commander Twitter did an excellent job finding people who were like, win's a win. Win's a win. Man. Don't care. When 49ers fans were like, oh no, we lost Brock Purdy, who actually had only lost one game No, I don't think he had lost a game up until that point, until that shoulder thing. Like, I mean, he had nerve damage, dude.
It's
like they were like, no, it's cool.
Do you watch the Rocky movies?
No.
Have you seen Rocky?
No.
Okay.
Obviously.
Well, spoiler alert. Rocky typically loses. There's a reason. Philadelphia's can't handle winning. Okay?
So they made a movie about losing.
They made a movie about losing. They got a statue of a losing motherfucker that everybody goes to, right? They not only do they have actually like world-class, some of the greatest of all time boxers that are from Philadelphia, but they're black, so they can't do that. So what they do is they find a white fictional loser, and then they put his statue up in the goddamn city. That's how fucking batshit Philadelphia is. And I love them to a certain degree. The music out of Philly, the Roots, Philly, Meek Mill, and all of these fucking problems. I probably don't want to claim, you know what? I'm going to leave that alone. Not Meek Mill. But, yeah, Beanie Siegel, love that motherfucker. Freeway, love all them dudes, all right? Even me, I had the fucking Muslim beard. I look like a Philly dude forever. Before
You
it
look
became
great,
a thing.
by the way.
Dog, these motherfuckers just can't handle it. They can't see anything outside of their bubble. They think they're right. It's terrible. Look, man, it's the same way I fucking hate it. When the Red Sox won that goddamn World Series, I was like, oh, God, no. You have fan bases that just can't handle this shit.
Can't handle success.
They just
right.
can't handle it. They become the worst. LA Rams won the Super Bowl. Anybody give a fuck? Nah. Cool. The Ravens have been perennial winners. Is anybody really annoyed by Ravens fans? Even if you're a Commander fan in the area? Not really.
No, got a lot of
fans,
respect for Ravens fans, in fact.
Right?
Yeah.
Steelers fans travel deep as fuck. Terrible towels are pretty much annoying because you see the terrible towels, but nobody's got a problem with them. It's whatever. It's cool, whatever. Eagles fans are a particular breed of assholishness that just can't be. Look, I hate Cowboys players more than I ever hate Eagles players. But
Same.
I don't really give a fuck about Cowboys fans. I don't care. They don't even register to me.
I agree.
Eagles fans are a particular sort of fucking evil.
Yeah. I am actually, I'll shout out Tim Borosowski here, old roommate of mine. He's one of the only reasonable Eagles fans I've ever come across where he will go, no, we deserve to lose that game. And I was like, I'm sorry, what?
I question his Eagle fandom.
Well, you know how skewed it has to be for you to get there, right? Like he's reasonable. You're like that. Maybe he isn't even a fan. Like he is. Trust me, he's punched a hole through a wall. I was there for it. He's done it. Okay. And they were up 10-0 on the Giants. Okay. That's when he punched a hole through the wall. This is, I mean, yeah, the Eagles fans, a lot of crying about it. I think it is also recognition. Look, here's the thing. I think they see Jayden Daniels as a huge threat to what they are.
Of course.
Right? So, like, I think for him to be the 5 touchdowns on their defense, they were walking in, they were like, we just smoked this kid. We just smoked this kid. He couldn't do shit against us. For them to lose that way, right? We made all the mistakes, and it was one guy that beat them. And for it to be a rookie in their division, and it was through the pocket, by the way. I know he ended up running, but it was primarily pocket. Like, that's scary. This isn't a gimmick, and they know it. He's done this with Olamide Zaccheaus. He's done this with Jamison Crowder. He's doing this with De'Ami Brown, right? Like, this is what we're talking. Zach Ertz, he'll catch it. He's not moving an inch forward. We know that. Shout out the Pittsburgh Steelers game, which I still think was a bad spot. But he's not moving forward, okay? Like, it is an damn near existential NFC East. We had this window. Thank the Lord for our one. It just got infinitely more difficult, and they can't handle it.
And they keep adding pieces to make them perennial. They should be winning everything. And the fact, and I know they feel insecure in it. I know they feel insecure. But also, you remember even the last episode, you said that maybe this was going to be good for them long term. And I told you I didn't believe that because I don't think they're not following the right narrative. They're not following the things that there are lessons to be learned in this game. Absolutely. No one's talking about them. Mm-hmm. They don't have any self-awareness. So it's like I can't look at them to learn from their mistakes because they don't know what mistakes they're making. They have no fucking idea. It's all excuses. All excuses.
It would also be one of the first times, someone else had made this point, I can't remember who, referencing A.J. Brown, that the diva wide receiver typically does not win. And you look back in history, they can have good games in the Super Bowl, but they don't. I mean, it's true. It's true. They just don't win. Tyreek Hill, to me, became a diva after leaving Kansas City. While he was in Kansas City, like, yeah, he was like, hey, I'm the guy, but there's also Travis Kelce, it's Andy Reid. Like, there's a good defense. Like, that's different. And Mahomes is just this level of special that, and you see it on Christmas Day, by the way. Anyone doubting the Chiefs? Like, oh, my Lord. These guys turned it on for one game. They were like, yeah, just to let you know, we can still do this. Everyone being like, oh, you're winning close games. Like, we can still fucking do this. So why don't you sit your ass down, enjoy yourself some eggnog, and shut the fuck up. All right? Because we're still number one. Like, that was a dominant performance from them.
It's a bigger narrative. Like, the divas that do win are reformed. They're the ones that, like, oh, I can't do this in order to win. All right, I'm not going to do that anymore. Look, I never really put him in the full-blown diva. No, he was. He was at one point, at least in New York. Odell Beckham.
Oh, sure.
What he did for the Rams in that fucking Super Bowl before he got hurt. Jesus Christ.
He was on track for MVP of that.
But the thing is, people still give Odell Beckham shit for what he was doing in New York, like getting caught up in the net and all that kind of stupid shit, right? But everyone post then has said, best teammate we might have ever had. Selfless to a T, doesn't cause any fucking friction, just loves to fucking play the game, and is the number one. Like, everyone fucking loves him. They always want him on the team. That's what you did. You got the dude to say, oh, I can't do it like that. I'll do it a different way. And they fucking get it done. I fucking love that shit. I love it.
Let's go ahead and dive more into, because it rubbed Coach the wrong way for sure. And I was also like, I don't know how I feel about the term credit. So why don't you go ahead, level set, explain your thing one more time.
It's all about the bullshit that happens post-game. To me, it's a difference between, like, I'm not for, it's like, all right, people that cry about the refs.
Yeah.
It has to take a certain level of egregiousness to get me to a point where I'm going to complain about the refs, right? Me and you kind of on the same wavelength. Like, in order for us to get on here and complain about the refs, it has to be egregious in order for us to even chirp about it, right? My thing with the injury stuff is there's a difference between saying, like, let's say, for instance, the 49ers in that year that Philadelphia went through them to win the Super Bowl against Josh Jones.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy's hurt before the game.
Well, during.
Or was it during the game? Was it?
Yeah. It was like
early
one of the first possessions. He loses a fumble, but like
the
way he gets hit.
I won't even use that. I won't even use that example.
Okay.
I'm just saying, there's a difference between, all right, if you got a guy that's down before the game starts, and a fan base is like, well, shit, if we had this dude in the game, it might have been different. I can understand that. I don't love it, but I get it. I get you saying, like, the what if on that aspect of it, right? Like, if somebody's running and it's a non-contact injury, it's just terrible luck. They go down. I can understand the post-game bitching about, well, things would have been different if we had our guy. What I don't take for is if a team hurts the other team. That happens over the course of a game. We did that to you. You don't get to say the what if. What if no longer exists for you? That's not an argument to be made anymore because the opposing team did it to you. It happened over the course of the game. You cannot say what if because it happened to you. It wasn't a fluke. It wasn't some bullshit. Someone hurt you on the other opposing team. It happened over the course of the game. I just don't think you can then use that as far as the logic of saying what if anymore. That's my thought. Okay. It's a very narrow thing that I'm saying. I'm not wishing injury for anybody. I'm just saying the post-game bullshit or the what-if conversation to me is eliminated if the injury has happened because another player did it to you.
Okay. Yeah. And right. Because my initial reaction when I heard credit was like, oh, okay. Like, we were out to hurt him. Right? It's just the natural reaction of it. Like, we were out to hurt Jalen Hurts. It's a violent game. Let's start there. Injuries happen all across the board. And I guess the way I'm thinking of it is because let's talk about the hit itself. Because when Frankie Louvu hits him, first off, Frankie Louvu has zero track record of being a dirty player. So let's start there. And two, people know how fast there are many, many worse. This game moves so fast on the field. Jalen Hurts is so good at getting an extra yard or two. 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 4th and 1, 4th and 2. You're doing everything you can to stop the guy. You're making sure he's down, right? You were taught to do that. We see that hit all the time. All the time. It was very unfortunate that he hit him in the head and that his head hit the turf the way it did. For example, my I got a concussion playing soccer. It was just 2-3 months ago or something like that. The guy it wasn't a dirty hit. I mean, it was clearly a foul, but it wasn't a dirty hit. I got to the ball first. He goes right through me. Could he have gotten less hard? Sure, but like no fault of his. It was the way my head hit the turf. It was completely independent of the way the guy hit me. It was just bang. That's it. That's all that happened. Same thing with Jalen Hurts. It was more the way his head hit the turf, where it was just like a quick, sudden like hit there, and he was a bit woozy. I don't think it was dirty at all. I don't think it was dirty at all. I think when I think about the term credit, I see where you're coming from. And I think it's, for me, I think it's part of the overall game narrative. Like you could say Washington did knock him out of the game. So I get what you're saying. I think the moment you say credit, like if I credited the other guy with giving me a concussion, that would seem more like he was out to do it.
I put it to you this way. You ever get hurt playing football?
Yeah.
When you got somebody like hurt you, like somebody hit you hard enough that like, fuck, my leg's not working the way it should work or work beforehand, or shit, I hit my head. And after you get hit, what does it sound like if you're the dude that says, well, you know, if you didn't hit me like that, like I would have dominated you. I would have beat you badly. You look like a bitch. What you do is you say, fuck, man. Yeah, you got me. You got me. No doubt. Okay. And you keep it moving. That's my thing. Is it like what I'm hearing from Eagles fans?
I see.
Made shit.
So
it's football. You're
complaining
football.
About the fan base.
That's what I'm specifically complaining about. Cool. Is the fan base reaction to it. When I say credit, it happened over the course of the game. You can't dismiss it. You can't do the what if scenario. Sure. You got hurt because another player hurt you. I'm not look. I listen to a lot of podcasts when it comes to a lot of football players, and the podcasts I listen to are usually football players that are trying to not keep it PC, to keep it as real as they possibly can. Yeah. And the sentiment I always get is that, like, look, none of us want to hurt another player, but we want to hurt you. We want you to feel it.
We want you to feel it. Right, exactly.
You need to feel us. And if you feel me enough that you can't come in the game again, I did it to you.
Right.
I did it to you.
No. And by the way, it's so weird because this is kind of a nuanced conversation. I get that. Right? Like, I do get that because you want the person to think twice about trying to pull a spin move on you, especially, and I know this because I don't know about now, but like much younger, I was a very shifty, very skinny Indian kid. So like for me, it was just, I was very elusive, stuff like that. But if someone hit me, I definitely thought twice about trying to do a move on him because we used to play some tackle football as well. I'd be like, I'd rather just chill on this one than try and pull a move on this guy again. I think I get that.
And the thing, like, if you were to look back at like the history of the lore of our franchises, like what makes us the fans that we are, right? Everybody goes to Sean Taylor for us, as far as the dude that made you think twice about doing something because he was going to put your ass out. Yep. I still personally think him hitting the punter in the Pro Bowl was not okay. I think it was a little crazy. Okay. But it happened over the course of the game. Nobody's complaining about it. It's what it is.
Mormon, cool. Shout out Brian Mormon as well.
Legit.
Like, hey.
And congratulate. You got the better of me, sir. Right?
You're talking about a trip to Hawaii and just getting your ass rocked.
Rocked on that TV. It was nuts, right? I was like, God damn, ain't nobody playing that hard, Sean. Calm down, buddy. Like,
that's why we love him, though. That's why we
think about the
Sean.
Eagles. What do you think about when you think about Brian Dawkins?
Oh, heavy hitter, man.
Fear.
Yeah.
The minister of defense, Reggie White.
Yeah.
Hurts you. I'm gonna baptize you. Like that's what he did. I talk about the
Ryan Clark. Let's talk about the guy on ESPN. Ryan Clark would knock your ass out. Like these heavy hitters, they affect games.
I go back to the body bag game. You're familiar with the body bag game?
Yes.
We lost how many? We lost multiple quarterbacks in this game. Brian Mitchell ended up having to be our emergency quarterback in this situation, throwing the ball. Before the game, Buddy Ryan literally says, the reason it's called the fucking body bag game, we want them to leave in body bags. After that game happens, Joe Gibbs credits that loss to why we won the Super Bowl in 91. And the reason he says is that, yeah, they hurt the shit out. They hurt us. And we knew it'll never happen again. It'll never happen. They will never be able to dictate to us the way they dictated in that game. We're going to win. And the 91 season, one of the most dominating seasons any team has ever happened in the history of the league.
Yeah.
My thing is, like, over the course of football, nobody, especially now that we know about concussions, we know about everything else like that. There's no part of me that's like, Jalen Hurts, I'm so glad you got concussed. My thing with the fans is saying, yo, y'all bitches, you cannot say the what if bullshit because it happened to him. It wasn't just an act of God. You got dictated to.
I'm really glad that you got the chance to explain that very, very clearly in my estimation as well, because I think a lot of people were like, oh, KDot celebrating. No, you weren't. No. From the narrative standpoint, and there I do agree, especially when a fan base like that boasts about what an excellent team they have everywhere. They love Howie Roseman. They talk about they don't like their own quarterback. I think Jess Santos said so too. Like, they're like, oh, the weak link's Jalen Hurts for some of them. Okay, well, now he's out. Oh, now you miss him? Like, I mean, it just, like, you can't have it both ways in that respect.
I also love the team that won a Super Bowl. The only Super Bowl in the history of their franchise with a backup quarterback. Like, shut the fuck up. Yeah. Like, the same way that I'm hearing everybody talk about how the defense is mid. After just a few days ago, it was great.
You know what would have happened if we had lost that game? Either you lost to Kenny Pickett, or doesn't matter who we put back there, you're always going to be our kid. Like, that's exactly what would have happened. So this is just the other side of the coin.
Fucking game. That's what I'm saying. It's like you don't hear the what if bullshit more than Philadelphia. That's my annoyance.
Since we're over $145 here, a lot of potting in the past couple of days. It's been fun. Let me ask you this. Tampa and my side piece team, Carolina. Yeah. You originally, this is before Tampa blew it against Dallas. You originally had Tampa losing a game, and it would have been to the Carolina Panthers. They have now lost to the Dallas Cowboys. Do you think Tampa beats Carolina? Do you think Carolina beats Tampa? Because once again, that has implications for our game.
I have money on Carolina. Now, here's what I'll say. I thought Tampa Bay was going to fall apart dramatically a long time ago. Their attrition is not great either. I thought Godwin alone was just going to be they'll never recover.
Oh, that was curtains.
They've been still doing things. So, like, they're surprising me as far as how feisty they are. Well, once again, I'm a huge Baker Mayfield guy. I love Baker. I love Baker.
Yeah.
So I get that he's willing to do it, but I think Carolina's just feisty enough. And they don't give a fuck. And I think that they're in a position right now where, like, they can end this season on a real good high note going into next season and really just turn the tables on what everybody thought this season was heading to. I know I did. I thought you were on crack. Like it was nuts what you thought about Carolina. They changed everybody's opinions. They are one of the feistiest teams in the league right now. As a matter of fact, they are what we thought Arizona was going to be at this point, right?
That's why I picked them as the fucking side piece team. I was so pissed off it took them this long. No. So I'm just saying I don't get credit. It's very annoying. I want the credit. I want to be right about that. But God, it took them way too long to get to this point. I mean, just yeah. But yeah, they are feisty. We'll see what happens. It's going to be. I actually think it's going to be a closer game than people think. Tampa needs it. Tampa absolutely needs it. The vibes are high in Carolina right now.
I got money. On the line, bro.
Go ahead. You hit that bet, and then we're already in the playoffs entering the Sunday night game. I still wouldn't call it house money. For those that are still watching, one, appreciate it. Two, check out our episode, Ref the District. We talk about the importance of the 6th seed and what it can mean for the path moving forward. It makes a huge difference. And so for that, also pay attention to Packers.
Philly.
Yeah, you want Philly. I want the quote unquote easier route, which is avoid Philly, let a hot Green Bay team take care of that for you. Let them play Detroit should they win.
I ain't trying to back in anything. I want everything up front, hardest fucking obstacles. You know why? Because once again, this season doesn't matter much to me as far as what it is this team does. Trial by fire, baby. Jayden Daniels get his ass kicked by Philadelphia. You think it's going to happen next year?
Oh, yeah. You made that point. The mindset that this man would go into in the offseason. Oh, my goodness.
My dedication of my life is to destroy these fuckers.
Actually.
It's all learning to me.
He, like, never loses to Philly again in his career. It's like the Mahomesian stat with the AFC West. He just doesn't lose to them. Like, it's... Right. You could see something like that.
That's my thing. It's like I don't want after the playoffs for us to be sniffing us. Oh man, we beat the Green Bay Packers. We're good. Nah, give me the hardest fucking opponent. Give me the hardest road.
Definitely get the rationale. I would, by the way, if that ended up being the matchup, oh my goodness, I would be juiced for it. Just to be clear, I'm thinking like if we were to make a deeper run, I would prefer the other way. But rest assured, I would be so hyped for that game. Oh my God. The prospect of knocking Philly out?
I want to hear their bullshit. I told you about friend Mauricio when we lost to Philly the first time. I got a text message at 3:00 in the morning, and he said, "Oh, my bad. I forgot to make fun of you for losing." He's an Eagles fan. I was like, "You piece of shit."
That was more disrespectful.
That was disrespectful shit.
Yeah.
So and I was like, what did I not do? Did I bring up we're in year 1 of a rebuild? You should have beat us. Did I say that? No. I took the fucking lumps. Right. Now, roles reversed. I text him. Just say, I hope you like that L.
Oh, I would have loved to be like, oh, sorry.
Hour after the game. I wasn't even disrespectful. Hour after the game. Yo, I hope you like that L. I hope you're fucking proud of beating Kenny Pickett. You guys suck. I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. You guys are so full of shit. You're full of shit. They change anything to fit anything. They can't help themselves. There's something fundamentally wrong with them.
All right. Well, on that note, thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you on the other side of this Sunday night matchup against the Atlanta Falcons. KDot, I'll be going to the game. So KDot, we got to figure out. I may just be like fucking zonked at like 1 a.m. or something like that.
That's fine with me. I'll be up on that.
All right, cool. Well, then that may be the situation. We'll try and get it to you 6 a.m. Barring, let's just say A-Train having a good time. So until then, take it easy, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Bye, everybody.
In DC, we're just hoping that you listen.